Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. I'm Mark Goldbridge and today we're going to talk how Arne Slot is going to take Liverpool back to the top of the Premier League. I've been wanting to do this video for a while and I suppose the best place to start is by saying I really hope he doesn't. As a Man United fan, I thought when Klopp went, this could be the beginning of the end for Liverpool. But I think they've made a very intelligent acquisition in Arne Slot. And I suppose the best place to start is why they went for an Eredivisie coach from Feyenoord when some people think they may have gone a little bit more obvious. But I think when you dig deep, there are three fundamentals as to why Arne Slot has been chosen. And I think that's around his development past and how he develops players and tactics. I think it's also his ability to work under financial constraints. And thirdly, he has got experience both in Europe and of winning trophies. It's a huge step up. But we're going to look at style of play as well and how Arne Slot could slot in perfectly for Liverpool. So let's start on the development side and look at the current Liverpool team and what's happening. And a lot of people would say, why are Liverpool not making any transfers as well? And I think, to be honest with you, if you're a Liverpool fan, you probably would be quite frustrated by the absence of signings. I certainly look at when Manchester United brought in Erik ten Hag, also from the Eredivisie, and it was all about signings. But there's a very big difference in that development category. Erik ten Hag came into Manchester United, the worst ever Premier League side, playing what was basically counter-attacking football and living off moments. Arne Slot comes into Liverpool with a Liverpool side that I said last season isn't complete. Jurgen Klopp was trying to, complete a fantasy last season, trying to win a Premier League before he goes off into the distance, and it would have been the perfect goodbye. Or maybe a Europa League win in Dublin would have been perfect as well. He achieved neither. But I don't think that's a criticism. I think actually he was rebuilding. Like Sir Alex Ferguson used to rebuild Man United sides, Jurgen Klopp was rebuilding that side that won a Champions League and a Premier League and probably deserved more if it wasn't up against the juggernaut of Manchester City. That Liverpool team certainly did deserve more. And Jurgen Klopp was going through the process of rebuilding it. Alexis McAllister came in last summer. Other players came in as well. Darwin Núñez isn't the complete thing yet. There's younger players coming through like Kwanzaa and Jones and Elliott and Bradley at right back. That team was being moulded. And I actually think if Klopp had stayed this season, I would have firmly put them in that top three category to push Arsenal and Man City again. So Arne Slot is inheriting a team that is on a journey. And if you bring a manager in that goes, forget Klopp, I've got my way of doing things, sell him, bring him in, it could be catastrophic. I think what Arne Slot's CV does is show that at Feyenoord, he was a man that didn't need a lot of money, that developed players and made them better. Just like Jurgen Klopp could take a Jota from Wolves and make him top class from being decent, and he did that time and time again with the likes of Salah and Mane and Van Dijk and many, many others. Arne Slot's very similar what he does at Feyenoord. I think when you check Feyenoord and the list of players that he's bought in his time there, the biggest ever signing he made was about 8 million euros, which was Hanko, the defender, who can play, I think he plays left centre-back, left-back. But they won an Eredivisie. They won an Eredivisie the season before last, and they won the Cup last year with Feyenoord. So this is a manager in Slot who is more than capable of developing players and getting the best of what he's got. And when you look at that current Liverpool side, you've still got the experience of Mo Salah, Virgil van Dijk, Alisson, Andy Robertson, Trent Alexander-Arnold. But then you've got players that are coming through, younger players that need to be moulded into that. The journey needs to continue. So whilst it might be confusing as to why there hasn't been many signings yet, when you look at what Liverpool have done and the style of play they've had, which we'll talk about next, already on the pre-season side of things, and you look at the feedback from the likes of Curtis Jones and Harvey Elliott, who've said, we're really enjoying the training under Arne Slot, and it's not in any way disrespectful to Jurgen Klopp. That is the past, this is the present. I think there's a lot of positivity around the Liverpool players as to the enthusiasm, organisation and plan that Arne Slot has in place. And it's not a million miles away from that of Jurgen Klopp. So I think why Arne Slot was brought in was obviously, as we said, to develop players and also his ability to work under financial constraints like he did at Feyenoord. But also, this initial period is actually a masterclass of continuity. You go on pre-season, you have a month of looking at these players, and we've already heard from Liverpool that they might be looking at signings in August, and some think that might be because of deals that can be done a little bit cheaper in August because it's been a slower window, and granted that might be the case. But it also gives Arne Slot a month to train a squad and work with a squad and understand if he actually does need to make changes. Because from a financial point of view, an efficiency point of view, and a success point of view, if Arne Slot comes in and goes, I'm really happy with this squad, you're not in a bad place. Like, there's a momentum to this squad. I like them. Let's work with this. I don't actually need anything. To the modern football fan, that's going to be quite, saddening because you want signings, but it could be an absolute masterstroke. And when we look at what Arne Slot has achieved in football so far and how his reputation is in relation to football, he would be one of the hipster managers coming through at the moment. And he's now at Liverpool. And when you look at the way they played against Real Betis last week, and there are still some players to come back, of course. There's people who've missed games because of the Copa America. There's people because of the Euros as well. But the way he lines up and the way he wants to play, there's basically 3 or 4 principles to an Arne Slot side, which I think we will see with Liverpool. And I want to talk about how I think they'll start the season, because let's not forget, 3rd game of the season, Manchester United at Old Trafford. Erik ten Hag, Arne Slot, Dutch coaches with a good Eredivisie CV, managing 2 of the biggest clubs in the world, going head-to-head at Old Trafford. How's that going to play out? And who's going to be ready for that? Because the headlines are written, whoever wins or loses, isn't it? But Arne Slot, in essence, is high intensity when they've not got the ball, that press to win the ball back. And when they have got the ball, it's really about final third possession domination, chance creation, and attacking football. Not dissimilar to the heavy metal football that Jurgen Klopp wanted. So it's not tiki-taka, it's not patient, it's energetic, and it's entertaining. And again, it's about that continuity. And when you look at the way they played against Betis and the way they play against Arsenal and Manchester United in the other pre-season games, fundamentally, he is looking at a back 4. Fundamentally, he is looking at a pivot of 2. And then it's quite interesting what he's doing, because I think the fullbacks and the width is really important from what we've seen so far. He is looking at almost 2 false nines if you look at the Betis game. And the midfield pivot of 2, which I believe was Curtis Jones and Endo, they are there to be an option for the centre-backs at all times. The fullbacks are an option as well, but he wants to get the ball into them to allow the fullbacks to get forward. And on top of that, he had Szoboszlai and I think Harvey Elliott as almost 2 false nines. So even if the double pivot is marked, there is a pass beyond them, a longer pass that people like Van Dijk and Konate can easily play into the likes of Szoboszlai and Endo. And Elliott, or in probably Jota when he's back. And then you've got the longer ball for the likes of Salah and whoever's playing off the left. So I think it's going to be very interesting because, yes, it's high intense. Yes, it's about creating chances. But it is about that double pivot and it is about the width. I think we're going to see a lot of goals from Salah this season. And it's going to be interesting to see what he does with someone like Darwin Núñez, because I don't think an out-and-out number 9 is necessarily what Slot's looking to do. He's looking to play centrally a lot and exploit the width and basically pull the defences closer to the halfway line so they can get in behind down the flanks. But that double pivot is something that you're going to see a lot. And I think if there's going to be any sort of transfer activity, it's probably going to be about that area. Really interesting, Arne Slot. I think it could be a very successful time for Liverpool next season. I fear that. I think that momentum is so important this Premier League season. Man City will probably win the league. Arsenal aren't going to go anywhere. Chelsea have got a new manager. Newcastle, Manchester United, Tottenham, Aston Villa. It's all a bit uncertain about what's going to happen with them. The only doubt about Liverpool is their coach. And I think that is why Liverpool went for Arne Slot, because he just has that experience in all 3 key areas that they need. good working in the transfer market under limitations, development, style of play, and also he has got experience in Europe and of winning things. Get your comments in below, smash a like on the video. I'll speak to you on the next one.